G'day everyone, it's me, the Anti-Theocrat, back with another one. Before I go into the main content, it's a quick sales pitch. It's the only one you're getting, so enjoy it. Below these videos, I do attach all links to the information if there are links to be had. I also archive all of the information if that's possible. I also supply links to other platforms for my content and how to support me if you wish to do so. That'd be nice, but no requirement. That's it. That's my intro. That's my sales pitch. It's all I've got. It's all you're ever going to get. And now, on with the show. Okay, we're going to try something different with audio here, so you'll just have to excuse it if it's not quite up to snuff. Or I'll re-record. Who the fuck knows, right? But anyway, I was up in the middle of the night reading this crap, and I thought I'd write a script, so let's work from that. First, I'm going to let Julia, who, by the way, thank you, Julia. What we men need is more women telling us that, A, we're broken, B, we can be better, and C, you women know exactly how to fix us. It's bloody lovely, isn't it? But anyway, I'll play the show intro for you to give a feel of what you're about to see or listen to.
Hi, I'm Julia Furlan, and this is NPR's Life Kit.
By the way, I would play her audio and use that as my writing, but her voice is going to drive me fucking insane.
As you could probably tell by the title of this episode, or any number of things that led you here, we're talking about friendship. And look, I don't want to brag, but we brought our absolute dream team, some of the highest ranked podcast guests in all of friendship.
Highest ranked in friendship. Okay. Who are these really highly ranked guests?
I feel like we're like the Michael Jordan of friendships. Like, you can't ask Jordan how he does what he does. He's a freak of nature. You know, it's an anomaly. Like,
okay, the gay guys. The gay guys who masculine so well that we need their advice, apparently. Hey.
Anomaly. Like, this is phenomenally rare.
That's Rafael Casal, who we talked to along with his best friends, David Diggs and Utkarsh Ambudkar. All three of them are multi-talented artists, performers, they're singers, they're hip-hop artists, they're everything. You can find their names in the credits of about a squillion different projects, but here...
I've got no fucking idea who they are, and I do not fucking care. Okay, so they're not exactly top-ranking hit makers on their own, but they work well in teams, apparently.
Different projects, but here are just a few. The Mindy Project, Hamilton, Pitch Perfect, the movie Blind Spotting, which Rafael and David...
I think I've heard of one of those.
Rafael and David wrote and star in, for the record. At one point, all three guys were also part of an improvised hip-hop group called Freestyle Love Supreme.
Does that just sound gay or what?
Freestyle Love Supreme. And they credit their friendship, this Michael Jordan sailing through the air kind of friendship, for their professional success. They even all moved to the same neighborhood now so that they can collaborate on music and movie projects together. You know, they're tight.
Like, everything we do is about, like, hugging it out when you see each other.
Utkarsh is a serious hugger. Utkarsh hugs a lot. When you least expect it.
I do. I love my buddies. I mean, like, it's corny but true. Rafa and I lived together. We'd have a cigarette every night, and
post-coitus.
Hug and say, "I love you. Good night."
They're
a post-coitus cigarette, was that? Anyway, I just wanted you to get a feel of what this was. By the way, the next thing she says is basically the last paragraph, and after that she says, and gender, it's a lie. So you're getting a feel of where this is coming from. It's going to be bollocks. So the intro was just to give you a feel of who these experts are in masculinity, who can tell us how to do it better. As to the article, let's read on. Here's the bad news. Men are hurting, and according to researchers, masculinity is what is hurting them and making it hard for them to maintain friendships. Are we? Are we hurting bad, are we? We're really fucking hurting. Our masculinity is so painful. According to many researchers. Okay, And are there any researchers who question this? Because you're just putting this up as many researchers, therefore it must be true. Is there a counter to this? Masculinity, as we know, we're all suffering from it. So, the great feminist talking point, that's it. But remember, as someone recently noted for me, this isn't about me. It's just that feminism has all the theories about what's wrong with men. But it's not about me, it's not about you. It's just that they know what's wrong with us. And apparently we can't maintain friendships. I'm concerned myself that someone thought friendships were forever. And concerned that we may have found a stalker. So, society tells men to be stoic. By the way, there is an asterisk here, and I'm not going to approach that because we know what men are, don't we? Men, by the way, can be gay. I don't rule out gay men being men just because I had a go at the fact that her 3 experts are hugging, post-coital cigarette smoking gay men. I'm not saying that they're not men. They're just probably not the best examples of what masculinity represents for the majority of us. So, obviously the go-to experts. And apparently we all want their relationships. We all want to go around hugging each other all the time. It's just what we want to do. Post-coital cigarettes too. Anyway, yes, to suppress their feelings and expects them to be aggressive, does it? Says Nobel Way, a developmental psychologist at New York University, and having a full range of emotions is inherently human. So society tells men to be stoic, or we don't have emotions. Which one is it? Come on, which one is it? We either don't have emotions, or we have to be stoic in the face of our emotions. You can't have this both ways. All right? Did a university-based psychologist really tell us this? Or is this the interpretation of the writer? Maybe it's just me, but to repress emotional outbursts must mean we have them in the first place. So, stoicism shows that we are, in fact, emotional creatures. We just controlled. Way has spent more than 30 years interviewing teen boys about masculinity and friendship. She says that in childhood, boys feel affectionate about their relationships, just as girls do. So, 30 years and still confused, it seems, about what masculinity is and what men and boys are. Confused enough to still be comparing boys and girls, rather than considering boys in their own light. Very, very clever. It sounds very feminist, always needing to express what we are in relation to girls and women. Because they're the perfect specimen, aren't they? So, yeah. What if girls never grow up? What if that's the real problem? Girls aren't growing up, and boys, by being stoic and strong, are the adults, are the grown-ups. Then comparing us to them is comparing us to children. Doesn't seem right, does it? Okay, children have a remarkable social and emotional skill to listen to each other, to read each other's emotions, empathy, all sorts of lovely things, she says. And yes, kids may well do that, and yet they can still be callous, uncaring bastards, little monsters. And girls excel at being little monsters. So what's your point? Yes, I am going to address this paragraph by bloody paragraph. But then, like clockwork in late adolescence, boys go underground emotionally when talking about their friendships. You get the I don't care anymore, or no homo, as if I've been asking a question about their sexuality rather than their friendship, she says. Yes, well, you think we should be hugging each other. But anyway, I'm addressing the paragraph. All you're telling me is the boys mature emotionally and that we're expected to stand tall and proud, not collapse in tears every 5 minutes and need a fucking hug. Those sound like invented replies anyway, as "that's gay" has been the standard reply since I was a kid. Not "no homo." Where the fuck did you get that shit? It's almost as if there's a recognition somewhere that effeminate emotional men are not mature. And yes, not all gay guys, but the most visible and recognisable ones, most certainly, like your three friends. They're always needing the reassuring hug of mummy. I do get where you're coming from, though. I do get what you're trying to say. Though if this is a university-level thinking, it's a sad reflection on universities. You're suggesting that they stop holding hands. Because that's what my 5-year-old son and his friends still do. And half of their luck to be able to have that sort of friendship still at that age. I encourage it. But mature men are meant to shift their focus to girls and women. It isn't unusual, surely, in a dimorphic species for us to mature sexually and find attraction in the opposite sex. It is also not the norm for our species to be homosexual. So it's not wrong to have a clear definition in how we express ourselves sexually as adults. And for men, that means we stop hugging and holding fucking hands, unless we're having postcoital cigarettes together. The reason for this is it's not good for reproductive, species reproduction for us to be doing these sorts of things. Alright, where are we up to? But the good news is that those skills can be recovered, and there are lots of experts who can help, and here's what they recommend. Oh, goody. Oh, good, we can influence men with soy. Infuse men with soy, sorry. My handwriting at 3 o'clock in the morning. All the world needs men crying all the time and holding hands with each other. And we can get back. All the emotional insecurity and immaturity of women. Wonderful. We should do that, shouldn't we? Because everyone wants fucking soy boys. The feminists love the soy boys they create. 1. Don't blame yourself. Well, no. It's natural, at least for men, to mature. And I don't blame us for that. I do, however, blame you for what is going to be coming. You're a product of a society that expects very particular things of masculinity, does it? So focus on undoing hurtful and restrictive belief systems. Yeah, we'll undo feminism. Sorry, I should address this at the end. Friendships are coded as not masculine. Certainly emotions are coded as not masculine. Way's says, Way's a fucking idiot. So if you're not supposed to be emotional, that means you're going to be able to not going to be able to find intimacy. For fuck's sake, we're not meant to be finding intimacy with one another. That's for your gay friends who want to have fucking hugs and postcoital cigarettes. We are meant to look to women for that. God, I'll read my bloody script. Yes, now I blame you. You seem to be promoting a very strict interpretation of what friendship is. The few male friends I have in very emotional, in very masculine ways. We don't cry or hold hands, but we are friends. And we're tight. I get along very well with a couple of guys. Not many in my life, but then I don't have many female friends either. My partners make up half of my female friends, maybe. We can have conversations about politics and religion and all sorts of other things. We work together well, and much as I do with my partners, when I'm working alongside another man, I can see what the next step is. So one of my friends, we go and move furniture. Well, we used to move furniture together because he owned a truck and was doing that work, and I used to help him out. And there was never a moment we didn't work, because you knew what to do to be busy, to keep working. And that's us in step together. That's me in step with another man, without hugging and crying at him. Now, you can have the same over a beer at the pub or whatever else. There are a million ways in which men come into step with one another without having to cry and hug. So why do you need to limit what friendship is? Is it so that you can pretend men don't have friends? You people are sick. You project your sickness. You teach it to youth. Grow the fuck up. I may not have many male friends, but I have the very best ones. People that I trust. And no, we are not intimate. We have wives for that. And as you would assume an emotionally mature male would do in a dimorphic species, with a long gestation period. Yes, our children take 10 years or more to be self-sufficient. It means one part of our species has to be dedicated to that cause, and the other is disposable. But doesn't mean we don't have friendships and bond. See, we don't expect the same crap of women that we expect of men, because as a species, not the construct you think it is, the genders of our, the sexes, the genders of our species, but women care for and maintain households and children and look out for them. The men then are expected to grow up and take a few knocks to support those people. Thomas Page McBee, who's obviously a wanker, sorry, has thought a lot about masculinity. Okay, my reply there is Thomas Page McBee needs to grow up and get a life. Seriously, how do you spend a lot of time thinking about masculinity? What the fuck? Who thinks about their masculinity? You just fucking do it, right? Especially for his 2 books. Oh, God, don't fucking promote his books. No one wants to read that shit. I don't want to overstate, but I think there's something really disturbing about how masculinity, we think about masculinity as a culture, he said. In his extensive reporting, he has found a lot of codes that society expects boys and men to adhere to. I think we need to really face that and look at it culturally and see the damage it's doing. I agree. I agree that there is a problem with how we view masculinity. It isn't a problem. It isn't related to women. And it doesn't need to be looked at through a feminist lens. It just doesn't. What you are doing here, all of this, is what is wrong with masculinity. 2. Accept your own desire for intimacy and normalize it for the people in your life. As noted, that's what wives are for, and it's how we teach our sons about forging relationships. It's a shame that you people, because you are the problem, have ruined marriage and created so many single-parent households. Because you have taken 2 parents who should be showing how to care for one another and work together away from so many children. You did that. Feminist theory is part of that. A big part of that. They don't get to fucking put that on us. Way, the idiot, recommends sharing articles about masculinity and friendship so that you can start these conversations. And boy, are you in luck. There's a list of articles at the end of this post. Pour over them and don't forget, You have the entire internet at your fingertips, friend. Fuck off. Fuck off. Not my friend. You want to write this sort of shit about men, you are not my friend. So yes. Wei is very confused about men and shouldn't be handing out any advice she thinks men want to read. The fact that she thinks men want to read articles on masculinity shows how little she knows about men. I only do this because it makes good videos. Seriously. I get to laugh at you people. I get to go through so much stupid shit. But at the end of the day, it's a fucking laugh. And Wei teaches this shit. Wei works at a university. Wei may be what's wrong with the world. Okay. 3. Model vulnerability. Do what? Why? That's absolute fucking twaddle. Say the thing that scares you, like, I'm afraid nobody will go to my party, or I miss my grandma every day. What fucking age group are you talking to here? Doing so will make it okay for other people to follow your lead. Look, you've got to fucking get over things and grow up. I'm not saying I miss grandma every fucking day, you dopey dipshitted fucking retarded piece of crap. What is wrong with you? Life goes on. You have to grow up. You have to get over things. And children should learn this early. Really. Nothing beats a dead pet for teaching a kid that life is not finite. But you still have to go on. It's a great way to teach. It really is. It makes for stronger people. Not these fucking teary, hug everywhere people. Doing so will make it okay for other people to follow your lead. We're all on the elevator to a society where emotional availability is normalized, and I want you to press door open. Absolute fucking twaddle. That whole fucking number 3 was absolute fucking twaddle. Don't model vulnerability. Model strength. Why do you want to raise fucking kissing and hugging boys? Why do you want to raise girls that way? I don't understand that. Weak people are not attractive. Weak people are no fucking good to anyone. They are a burden. You people are probably a burden to somebody. Think about that. 4. Ask more questions. Okay. Ask more questions. I've got nothing against ask more questions. Let's see where ask more questions gets us. People sometimes feel they might be prying if they ask someone about themselves, especially when their friend is sharing something tough. But if you get curious in moments of vulnerability, you will open the door to all kinds of growth in your relationship. Take the opportunity to really see your friend and show them they matter by following up. But as LeVar Burton says on Reading Rainbows, you don't have to take my word for it. Nobel Way, well, these people who I don't fucking know or know anything about, they say things, that's fine. When you're with a friend or a romantic partner and they don't have questions for you, that is incredibly alienating. For fuck's sake, do you people have relationships? Do you know what happens after 10 years with someone? I've been in both of my relationships for longer than that. And you stop talking to one another. It's almost like you know the other person is there, you know where their mind is, you know what they're thinking, and you just don't have everything in the fucking world to say to one another every 5 fucking minutes. And sometimes you want to sit in silence and watch the TV. Or think about something going on. Fuck, I don't think you people have relationships. Nothing's lasting with you anyway. My actual answer to this paragraph is it because you may be prying. Seriously. I know well enough that if you ask a woman what's wrong, she's inclined to say, "What do you mean?" And it's nothing. People of both sexes don't want you in their faces asking what's wrong all the time. It's creepy. It is fucking creepy. You wait for an opening or an invitation, and if you don't want people thinking you're an annoying prick, that's what you will do. Now, I have something else to add that I didn't write here that came up when I read that. If you have ever been near a relationship breakup and one of the partners has perceived you as taking sides because maybe you talked to the other person because you thought, I'll open up to my friend. You know what? Sometimes the safest thing to do for yourself is to back away and stay the fuck out of business that's not yours. That's how it runs sometimes. Don't fucking stick your nose in where it's not fucking wanted. Especially if you don't want it bitten off. Get close with the children in your life. Is this Dr. Spock teaching? Let's see. By the way, Dr. Spock teaching is the absolute fucking worst way you can raise kids. Way's research. Way's a fucking confused twat. Why would I care what Way's research is anyway? Says that number one thing that helps children, especially boys, grow up to have enriching friendships is to be close with an adult relative who was not afraid to express emotions. So, if you're a parent, step-parent, or thinking about becoming one, or if you have nieces and nephews, take opportunity to be close to them and help them to grow up and be good friends too. Are you talking about the hugging, kissing, postcoital cigarette type friends again? Because, honestly, I don't want to raise my sons that way. If that's what my sons turn out to be, and I've got to say my oldest has probably skipped that and not gone that way, we'll see what happens with the youngest. But if they turned that way, if they decided that later in life they would say, I am a hugging, kissing, postcoital cigarette smoking man, I would say, fine, whatever fucking floats your boat. But it's not how I'm going to raise my son. Okay, so yes, this is just parenting, isn't it? Good parenting. It doesn't mean being your kid's best friend, by the way. You're raising them, not playing with them. It also doesn't mean getting them to cry all the time. Good parenting is a fine line between friend and disciplinarian, because you have to draw the lines in the sand with behaviour where your kids are concerned. Otherwise, you raise absolute fucking pieces of shit. And this is why Dr. Spock parenting is absolute fucking crap, and why we have the dumb shit kids we do today. So, if you don't get it wrong, you don't raise male feminists or violent offenders, you've done okay. And most of us get near enough to this for societies to form and work around the children that we raise. So why do you want to fuck with that? It also doesn't really sell the alienated parent or single parent households that you have created, does it? Doesn't sell that at all, does it? You want people to be with their kids. Yet feminism is one of the key factors in alienating especially fathers from their children. Okay, here's a little syllabus on masculinity so you can start your own research. Now, I could give you a list of books too, maybe I will one day, and it won't be this fucking shit. So anyway, here's a little indoctrination to undertake so you can be the proper male feminist, soy boy, postcoital hugger and cigarette smoker. So here you go. This detailed, insightful Twitter thread, a Twitter thread, really, a Twitter thread about addresses normalizing conversations about masculinity and friendship in his life, in Jarrett's life. It's nice that Jarrett just talking about, his life and assuring us that, fucking hell, what kind of guy gets a fucking thread on Twitter that's just about normalizing his normalizing conversations about masculinity? Anyway, a Twitter thread. You people are morons. How does this improve anything for anyone? What practical use does conversations about masculinity serve? Really? What does it serve? You don't know what masculinity is. You do not know how to address masculinity. You've shown us that already. And yet, you want us to read these fucking Twitter threads about masculinity. Yeah. Okay. Nobel Way. No, Nielobi Way. I don't give a fuck what your name is. You're an idiot. Gave a TED Med talk in June asserting that the belief boys will be boys is a harmful myth. Yes. The great feminist deliberate misrepresentation of the phrase boys will be boys, where she will, no doubt, build the straw man that the phrase boys will be boys excuses potentially illegal activity, and then she'll cut it down. She'll cut down that straw man like the brave feminist she is. Boys will be boys simply means they will be boisterous and full of energy. It does not excuse bad behaviour, and a good parent will be a good disciplinarian where their boys are concerned to make sure they know the line between boisterous fun and dangerous pastime. This person teaches and reads about boys and she's got no fucking idea. The American Psychological Association did a 2018 study about harmful masculinity that also includes a detailed list of references and research. I don't give a fuck. Right. I'm not interested in what sounds like a bit of research that set out to prove masculinity was a problem, rather than take the more open approach of working out what masculinity is and how it works in society. So, there's a very feminist-sounding bit of writing there, and I'm not fucking interested. You can go and shove that piece up your ass. Here's a piece in Harper's Bazaar. A magazine article about the ways that straight men lean on women in their lives, often their wives and girlfriends, to do emotional labour. Emotional labour. To support my family, I've carried pig carcasses into the back of trucks, weighing up to 100 kilos. And I've worked in meatworks with a knife, slicing, I've done every job in the cool room in a meatworks, and got myself pneumonia in the throes of doing all that. And you're worried about emotional fucking labour. You're worried about emotional fucking labour. So this magazine article apparently diminishes the value of women in their men's lives, trying to imply that the bond between a man and a woman can't have this emotional labour in it. But at the same time, this article is about loading your emotions on other people to labour over. Well, why the fuck not our wives and girlfriends? I mean, they do expect us to go out and do the filthy, dirty jobs of making money and raising and keeping a household. I mean, I'm an at-home father. I've slipped out of the workforce, and my partners both work. But I'm not normal, and I know I'm not the norm. Women are more than happy to tell me I'm not the norm and that I should go to work and do my thing. So, I help my partners out by relieving their stresses, by keeping all the bills paid and the house stocked with food and doing all the things that a wife would normally do. That emotional labour, and I can tell you, comparing that to what I had to do when I was in the workforce, or to what my partners do in the workforce, is absolute fucking bullshit. Fucking feminists. This feature in GQ, yay, another magazine. So yes, anyway, I really should address the first one. I thought, yeah, no, that's what I did. Yeah, the article is about dumping your emotional labour on anyone and everyone should ask everyone to impart their emotional labour, emotions on them so that they can labour over them, and then you're fucking worried that we do it with our wives and girlfriends. Get fucked. I bet you're all fucking single, and if you're not, I bet your relationships are not long term. Okay, so the GQ thing, another magazine. It's always my go-to place for learning things. I go to the magazine shelf at the shopping centre and I check out the covers when I'm standing at the checkout, and I learn that things like I ate my kids and my husband never noticed, highly intellectual shit out of magazines written by somebody who wrote something. Anyway, the thing here is this is meant to be a rebuttal of the Harper's piece, and I would bet that if you're citing this as something I should read, you are not going to believe this, or you understand the hypocrisy in you posting that, and so you thought you better counter it. Either way, I'm not going to these magazines for suggestions on how I live my life. This study about the harm done by toxic masculinity comes from an organisation that studies gender worldwide. Yes, well, I don't want to know anything about organisations that study gender worldwide, because you know full well that they are going to be feminist if they are fully funded and functional, because there's no way you can take masculinity and study it from a male perspective and expect to get funding for it. So, A, masculinity is not toxic. Masculinity in of itself is just a thing. People are toxic, and women can be toxic, which means femininity can be toxic. So can we just say people are toxic rather than masculinity or femininity? Yeah. Anyway, if that's what they're studying, I know they are feminist, and I know I don't need to give them a single second of my time, because I've read that shit and none of it is worth anything. Okay, now here's our little asterisk here for the word men as used at the top. For the purpose of this piece, we're using the word men to refer to people who identify that way and who can be saddled with the constraints of masculinity. Where did I write the answer to this one? Because this one fucking shit me up the wall. Saddled with the constraints of masculinity. I'm guessing you've never been given a reason to take pride in yourself, in your own strengths. That you have never in your life been tested and had to know your strengths. These constraints that you talk of, we will all break them at some time. all men will have a breaking point. All men will meet that breaking point. And that's not bad, right? It's better that we reach the breaking point than break ourselves. Now, a lot of men will break themselves just the same because the people around them don't understand masculinity. Thank you very much to the people who were involved in any way in this article. But these constraints, as you call them, we will all break them. But being able to have that reasonably insignificant thing about ourselves, that little thing about ourselves, the ability to control our emotional output, that ability to stand strong in the face of all sorts of crap that life throws at us, is a strength of character to be proud of. It's a thing that can bring pride. It is not a constraint. You think because we don't kiss and hug and have postcoital cigarettes together that we are weak, that there's something wrong with us. But that's not true. By knowing ourselves in that way, knowing that we can stand up to the rigors of what life throws at us, it's less a saddle, more like wings. It is. Because in that little thing, we can find pride in our own lives, in ourselves, in our abilities. Because most of us are not going to be in the history books. Most of us are not going to succeed at that level. But we can take pride. When my partners say that one of the things that I am to them is that emotional rock that holds things together, that can always bring stability back to any situation, by taking the emotion out of it and bringing it back to reality. And I have had that said to me more than once, that that's one of the strengths in our relationship, is my ability to be stoic, as you call it. And so I have something in my life I can be proud of without having to have those big achievements. I have my wings. You don't get to call it a constraint because you don't fucking understand it, have never had to do it. I recommend you try it. Grow up. Learn to control yourselves. Sometimes that's all you have the power to do in your life. And that's what we teach our sons for their own fucking sakes. And for the sake of the people around them in their lives later on. Because even you feminists don't want the gay guys that you've got here. They're fucking hugging all the time and postcoital cigarettes. And you don't want those either. They make great friends, but they do not make good partners. You do not get to decide that masculinity is toxic when you do not understand it, and you do not get to describe it as being a constraint when you do not understand it. So, for the purpose of this piece, they're using the word men to mean fucking men. And that's it. I've had enough. I'm going. I do not want to do this anymore. I've had enough of this. I'm out of here. I've been the anti-theocrat. May your gods remain fictional. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, have fun.